All right. I hereby call to order this meeting of the Arizona Boxing and Mixed Martial Arts Commission. Today is August 14th, 2019, and the time is 10:01 a.m. Would those commissioners that are in our part of this meeting please identify themselves and state as to whether they're here in person or via telephone.
This is Joe Pennington. I'm participating by telephone.
This is Scott Peters, and I'm participating by telephone.
I'm Scott Fletcher, and I'm here in person. Item B is our license applications. B1 is the 2019 Professional MMA Contestants Renewal License Application of Mr. Samson Guerrero per ARS Sections 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604 for persons over the age of 36. Mr. Guerrero, good morning. How are you?
Good.
We appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming down. Mr. Meneses, will you speak to Mr. Guerrero's application, please?
Yes, sir. Let's move him just a little bit closer so they can hear him. All right, Mr. Guerrero is a 40-year-old professional fighter with a record 2-3. His last fight was on WFF last November of 2018, where he lost by TKO. His walking weight is approximately 235. He'll be fighting at a heavyweight. He is not on any card at this time, but he is looking at getting on either the next rough card or WFF. He works out about an hour and a half a day, 6 days a week, doing Muay Thai, BJJ, boxing, and wrestling, including weight training and cardio, which includes running, squats, strength and conditioning, and other various calisthenics. He has submitted all of his required paperwork. Because he was over the age of 40, he is required to either have a doctor's note ordering an MRI or a doctor's note denying an MRI, and Dr. Eitner did write that he does not feel that he would be a candidate for an MRI at this time. So there is no MRI, but it does have the EKG and all the other paperwork. So my recommendation is to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioners, thoughts, questions for Mr. Guerrero?
I have one. Sorry, Mr. Pennington, please go ahead.
No, I have no questions.
Okay.
I have one question, Mr. Chairman. It's Mr. Guerrero. As a 40, you're 40 years old, right? So my question is, with a 2-3 record in MMA, tell us why you're entering into the competition, what your goals are in the sport.
Just to move up. I'm doing what I love to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I love fighting.
And so you're training for. Do you have any? I mean, you want to move up, but what does that look like for you in terms of your career?
I want to just follow through with it, you know. I doubt I'm gonna get to UFC because of my age, but it's just something I want to do, continue doing, and pursue it.
Okay. And you feel like you're in good shape to compete at a high level?
Yeah. Been doing this for the last 7 years.
Okay. Because we just take safety seriously here, and we just have to ask the question.
No, I understand.
Mr. Guerrero, it might help commissioners on the phone, especially if you'd kind of describe your workout regimen.
My workout regimen is from 5 to 6, running. Then I go into training. And after training, I go into strength and conditioning. Basically 6 days a week.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioners, any other thoughts? A motion, perhaps?
I have no thoughts. Question.
Chair would be open to a motion if there is one.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the 2019 Professional MMA Contestants Renewal License Application of Mr. Samson Guerrero per ARS 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604 for a fighter over the age of 36.
I think we have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Carla, do you want to take a roll on that, or are we good to
Yeah,
go?
we'll take a roll.
Okay.
Mr. Peters,
Aye.
Mr. Pennington,
Aye.
Mr. Fletcher.
Aye.
Motion.
Carries unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. I look forward to your future exploits. B2 is pursuant to ARS Sections 5-227, 5-228A, B, and E, and 5-229, the renewal license applications submitted by Mr. Rigoberto Ledesma, doing business as Fight Hard Promotions for a 2019 promoter's license. Good morning.
Good morning. Chris Vasquez representing Fight Hard Promotions. I'm going to get Rigo on the line.
Great, thank you.
So, Commissioners, just so you know, Mr. Rigoberto is tied up with work right now. He is not physically present, but he's going to get on the phone right now on a conference call. His proposed matchmaker, Chris Vasquez, who has worked for other promotions, is present on his behalf and is willing to answer questions.
There we go. I'm going to put you on speaker now.
But you have Rigo getting on the phone right now.
Okay,
You'll just put it right by the...
good, yeah, Chris, you might.
Rigo.
Is all your volume all the way up?
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Ledesma, are you with us?
Good morning, yes, I'm here.
Great, thank you for calling in. Mr. Meneses, will you speak to this application, please?
Yes, Mr. Ledesma with Fight Hard Promotions is formerly a boxing promoter with the commission. He has gone out and done other work for a little bit of time and has not been a promoter, but he's looking to come back. He has submitted all of his required documents and financials. As you can see on the first page of his promoter investigation report, there is a recommendation that he is in a stable financial position and he is qualified to be a promoter. We have already had a couple meetings discussing what his future events would look like and returning to the venue he's previously used in the past, as well as partnering with Mr. Chris Vasquez here, a licensed matchmaker, to matchmake for his events. With everything being submitted and in order, my recommendation would be to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioners, questions, thoughts about this application?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Meneses, has Fight Hard Promotions been a promoter in the past?
Yes, sir. I don't have the actual time frame, but Rigo, if you could talk to that.
Yes, actually, we've had 4 events, 2015 and 2016. The first 2, we did them at the Renaissance Hotel in Glendale. I believe that was March of 2015 and April, I believe. I'm not sure. It's all on box record. The other 2 were, one was at Valentino's Event Center, and the last one we had in 2016 was in Legends Event Center, where we're planning on having our events.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Ledesma.
Thank you.
I was at the Renaissance cards. I thought they were nicely done, Mr. Ledesma. Those were exciting cards.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Commissioners, any other thoughts or questions for Mr. Ledesma?
I have none.
Mr. Chairman, I have none.
I might. Mr. Ledesma, what's the future look like? Where are you hosting fights, and what are you hoping to accomplish? How often do you expect to see cards?
Well, that's a very good question. It all depends on, first of all, like I said, we're trying to have the events on Legends Event Center. We were planning on doing it at Tradiciones, but from all the feedback we've had in the past month since we decided to come back, there are so many boxers and managers that want to come back with us, and they want to be in our event. So Tradiciones is too small. I believe it holds about 700 people or so. So that's why we decided to get a bigger venue, which would be Legends. Now, as far as depending on how the event goes, we want to do it every month and a half, 2 months, if possible.
Fair enough. Thank you. How big a room is Legends? What's the head count like in there?
I believe 2,800
Wow. Yeah, that's a good-sized room.
for the fire marshal, yes.
I
Uh-huh.
had that issue with Tradiciones in the last show.
It's one of the biggest halls there is.
There was actually no room. I mean, you've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, we oversold the place
Right.
last show, so that's what we were talking about. We're like, you can't go back there if we're expecting fighters that we know that bring a bigger crowd.
Mhm.
That's the reason why we want to go back to Legends Event.
Okay. Okay, great. Isn't 2,800 more or less what the Celebrity Theater comes in at, too?
Yeah.
About the same size room? Yeah.
Yes, about 3,000.
Yeah.
But Celebrity is and an unofficial kind of a non-compete with Iron Boy, so they don't generally venture out with other fight promotions unless Iron Boy is willing to relinquish that.
Gotcha.
This would be, if approved, this would be our fourth local boxing promoter in the state, giving us more boxing promoters than we have MMA promoters, which at this time right now has been leading us for the last few years on MMA. So this is exciting and interesting.
No doubt, no doubt. This is great news. I'm glad you're willing to do this and hopeful about the future. These local shows are it's really the life's blood of our system, and we raise young kids up to be champions, and they end up fighting on ESPN or HBO at some point. You know, it's a great thing. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, with Fight Hard Promotions, we took
Thank you. We
David
definitely want to have more
Yeah.
David Benavides out here, so we need more.
No doubt, no doubt. We need more. I'm glad you're here. Commissioners, any more thoughts or a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we grant a renewal license application to Mr. Rigoberto Ledesma. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this. My eyes are not working real well this morning. Rigoberto Ledesma doing business as Fight Hard Promotions for 2019 promoter's license pursuant to ARS 5-227, 5-228A, B, E, and 5-229.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second? Yes.
I second.
Great. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Carlo, you want to take a roll?
Yeah, I'll make a roll. Take a roll. Mr. Pennington,
Aye.
Mr. Peters,
Aye.
Mr. Fletcher.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Look forward to your cards. Mr. Ledesma, thank you.
If you'll hang back for a minute.
Good luck to you
Gentlemen,
guys.
thank you very much. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to doing a lot of business with you guys. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. Take care now.
I'll get with you, Christian, as it's over. I'll get with you.
Okay.
Let's charge into C. C is our event reports. C1 is a request review, discussion, and possible action on the following event reports. The following events were approved by the executive director from July 17th, 2019 to August 13th, 2019. C1 was a request from King of the Cage Promotions for approval of the following 2019 MMA event to be held at the Blue Water Casino in Parker, Arizona on September 7th, 2019. That's good. I'm glad we're busy out at Blue Water.
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, they're keeping up with that out there, and they had a good turnout last time, and they want to come back, so that's great.
Terrific. Commissioners, any thoughts or questions about our event report? There being none,
I have none, sir.
okay, let's head into information reports. D1 is the 2019 event schedule. Mr. Meneses.
So just once again updating you guys with the latest and greatest on the event report. You'll see, the event schedule. You'll see some of the events that are plugged in there that were coming up. So September's gonna be a pretty busy month for us. We're gonna be utilizing Christian 2 weekends in a row, or not 2 weekends in a row, 2 weekends in September, as we are double booked. One up in Flagstaff on the 14th. He will be up there, and I'll be at the Thunderbolt Boxing event up in Scottsdale. And then on the 28th, Christian will be at the Celebrity Theater for Iron Boys MMA, and I will be with Ruff out at the Kashan Casino in Yuma. If that IGA goes through in time, right now it's still pending with the tribe or the community, so if we get that approved in time. Other than that, it's pretty much business as usual with events rotating throughout the rest of the year through November. We don't have anything for December. LFA is planning on returning one more time this year at the end of November on the 22nd. And then it looks like so far December is going to be a light month. However, one of the boxing promoters has already talked about potentially doing an early December show. So we will see if that follows through.
Very good. One question.
Sure.
The Thunderbolt Boxing, what venue is that?
They're doing it at Westworld, so
okay.
they have contracted with Westworld on all their events. This next one on the 14th of September is in association with Sweet Science because Thunderbolt wasn't approved at the time. They wanted to get their contracts done,
Yep.
But after that, going forward, it's going to be Thunderbolt on their own. This first card will have one non-heavyweight fighter, which is Mr. Keenan Carbaha. I think that was the concession they gave for Sweet Science. But going forward, they intend to do a full heavyweight card. They have found that it's a little difficult finding a full heavyweight card in Arizona. So they are bringing in a lot of fighters from other states, but that also gives them great exposure to our state and our promoters. So we are looking forward to welcoming them here.
Yeah, no doubt. Putting a whole card of heavyweights together is pretty tricky business,
Yeah.
isn't it?
They're looking about doing 6 to 7 bouts each card. And they are going to carry television. I'm not sure which network yet, but they do have a television contract for next month and the months going forward. And they are reporting that everything is moving along just great.
That's great. I'm excited about seeing the venue and how they lay that out. That's a big room. They could put a lot of people in there.
I forget which part of because it's the whole campus out there, so they're going to condense one area. I think they're narrowing it down to about 3,000 seats, I think. That's what they're trying to shoot for.
Good deal. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Very good. Commissioners, any thoughts or questions?
Mr. Chairman, just one question on the LFA event. Where will that be held, Mr. Meneses?
LFA will be at Comerica, to my understanding.
At Comerica?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And that's a Friday night.
Yeah,
right?
Comerica, or LFA usually does Friday nights.
Right. Very good. Thank you. Got all kinds of fun, interesting things brewing. Let's talk about the 2019 Commission meeting schedule.
Pretty self-explanatory. I did do one change. The meeting was tentatively scheduled for September 11th. I just felt that the significance of that day, and especially at that time, just probably wouldn't be the best for a commission meeting for business, so I went ahead and moved it up 1 week to the 4th. So that's about 3 weeks. That also gives promoters that are looking at needing anyone to get approved before the body, before their fight throughout the rest of September, the ability to do so with plenty of time to spare before their event. So September 4th, if that's okay with everybody on their schedule, that's the day we will plan.
Okay. Commissioners, September 4th work for you guys?
That works
It's
for
on
me.
my calendar, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, good. Bank on it. E is executive session. I know of no reason. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, let's head into F, summary of current events. This is the time for the commission chair or any member of the commission or the executive director to give a brief summary on current events that affect the commission. Commissioners, Mr. Meneses?
All right.
I
So,
have a comment.
Yeah.
I have an update, I guess. I had a meeting, I did meet with Scott Coker with Bellator about 2 weeks ago, and it looks like these guys are excited to make a big, to come out for a big show in 2020, so hopefully that'll work out.
Hot dog. That's exciting. Did you?
Right.
Have we gotten
sorry, can you say
anywhere?
that again?
Oh no, I'm curious about venues for them. You know, I know they probably want to have
Yeah.
alcohol sales. You know, ASU, Wells Fargo does now do
Thinking
that.
big. Well, from what I understand, they're looking to go real big. The biggest venue we have.
The biggest venue we have.
that's the Cardinal Stadium, but the next
Yeah,
the next one probably would be would be I think it's called Gila River Arena now, the one the Coyotes play at out in Glendale,
or Talking Stick.
No,
Stick.
actually, I believe they're thinking about Talking Stick. So
Okay.
biggest indoor venue I suppose we have. So yeah.
So
that doesn't
Talking
have a
Stick-
retractable roof.
Talking Stick is, I think Talking Stick is 12, well, it was about 12,000 with UFC, and that was near capacity. And I think Gila River Arena, where the Coyotes play, next door to the Cardinal Stadium, I think that's at 15 or 20,000. So they have some room there.
Wow.
Yeah, but we can I can find those numbers, and then I can pass them on to you, so you can pass them on to Scott.
Yeah, that's
That would
terrific,
be great.
Scott.
Thank you.
There's a lot of Scots in play here all of a
Right.
sudden, aren't there? Scott, what was I going to say? Oh, Talking Stick's undergoing some renovation next year. I know the Mercury are moving to a Veterans Memorial, so we might want to look at their calendar.
Tomorrow.
The Mercury.
Definitely.
The Suns aren't moving, but the
I believe they're
Mercury
in discussion. I believe they've had conversation with the venue.
Okay.
But definitely I can pass along that information about the other seating arrangements.
Well, that's fantastic.
Well, Gila River.
I'm glad they're, so they got Ryan Bader in mind, I hope?
Well, that's what I've heard, so we'll see. Never know.
Good.
Yeah, I heard that would be the plan, would be to try to use him as somebody on the card if they were able to make it out here. So moving forward, we had the ABC conference, as you guys know. The ABC conference was the largest in history so far. Over the weekend of the officials training, there was approximately 240 attendees from all over the world that attended judge, referee, and inspector training for both sports, boxing and MMA. A giant chunk of that is actually from our officials. Almost all of our judges and referees attended those trainings, and feedback I've gotten, they've all had it was a quality training, and they all learned something a little bit different, and sometimes some of them even got a little further explanation on some things that they wanted. Also, while we were there, I met with somebody from PFL, the Professional Fighters League. They are looking at coming out here in 2019, so I'm partnering with them right now and trying to find them a venue, putting them in contact with the various venues. They are looking at either Talking Stick Arena downtown or Talking Stick Fields in in the spring or the fall, of doing an outdoor event out at the baseball fields if the weather is nice. It would be their traditional tournament style, so we'd have to discuss that and get all the requirements or what the plan is for that, and then present it for the commission to determine whether or not there's a waiver to be granted for the tournament. Other than that, the conference overall had approximately 150 different executive directors from various commissions, including other outside sanctioning bodies such as the WBO, WBC, and vendors. It was a good quality time to meet with all the other commissioners and discuss different things that they do compared to what we do, and maybe look at doing some changes. Some things that I am looking at implementing is actually formulating a Arizona Rules Committee. It'll be made up of somebody from each one of our disciplines, each one of our officials that can give us input when we're looking at our rules, what things we need to update and change, as well as creating chief positions to kind of mirror the chief inspector. So having a chief ringside physician, chief referees and chief judges that we can rely on, that attend regular trainings and that can help train other officials. So that will be the next step. Other than that, everything else is business as usual. Carlo and I are traveling to LA this weekend to shadow the California Athletic Commission after receiving an invite from their director at the conference. So we will be there for the weekend shadowing them at one of their events, most likely the biggest event of the year. So
Good for you two. That's going to be a fun one. I got a chance to get out to the conference a little bit, and I got nothing but compliments about you guys and your ability to host and take care of people from various spots. We had Canadians here, and it was 114 degrees. So
yeah, they weren't used to that.
You guys did a great job of just highlighting this commission and what we're trying to do in this state and what we're trying to do, and everybody said they'll be back. Everybody said they had a great time, and my hat's off to both you guys.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Friday at LFA we had approximately 18 visiting commission members from Canada, Oregon, Kansas, New Hampshire, all over. We had about 18. And on Saturday at the boxing event that was overseen by Christian, that one we had approximately 20 various officials from all over. Everyone really enjoyed our events, and as I've kind of told the people that was that came to the LFA, some of these other jurisdictions that came, they aren't used to having big events. Some of these events are done in garages, and so when they came, this was like the equivalent of a UFC for them. They were just mesmerized at the size of the LFA event, and so they were really, really impressed of the quality, as well as I received the same feedback of all of our officials, how great they looked, how professional they were. We did have one slight little incident at LFA. A fight was stopped due to a DQ. We did receive an appeal on that. I am finalizing my decision on that today. It'll go to Kelly, review it, and then I will put out that decision by the end of the week.
Okay, great. thank you. Appreciate you pursuing that, too. You said one thing when we were talking about the conference. You talked to the PFL people, which is great, because I kept missing them. I kept chasing that guy down halls, trying to corner him. You said 2019. Did you misspeak?
I'm sorry. Yes, 2020. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in discussions right now for what they want to do for next spring or fall. They are looking at. They would like to commit to either a minimum of 2 or possibly 3 events a year, which would be great because I kind of equate them to the same size of LFA. So if we have LFA 3 times a year, we have them 3 times a year. Bellator and UFC are about the same size in fan base. If we get at least one of those a year, plus our 4 boxing promoters and our 3 local MMA promoters, that's going to keep us quite busy, and that'll continue to grow events and grow our commission.
You might be selling them short. I mean, they've got an ESPN deal. They might be talking stick size.
PFL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And that is one of the venues they want to look at, but they are they have some venue requirements also, like we've seen with other promoters.
Don't they all?
Yes. Yes.
we're not in the boxing and MMA business. We're in venue selection.
Yes. Yes. I'm starting to generate a list and have all the different great things that they have each venue offers, so that they can just provide it to them and they can decide what they want.
You know, every conversation we have comes down to venue. So there you have it. I did want to talk about one thing, if I may. This would be the part to talk about it, right? Current events? Sure. Commissioners, I spent some time at an urgent care, but we don't need to talk about why I was there. I'm fine. But I got to know Fast Med Urgent Care. They have 30 locations in the state. They provide impact baseline testing to thousands of people a day. They charge $25 a head, $10 if you do a physical there. 6 of their locations are sports medicine locations that do post-concussion treatment work. They're paired up with Banner so that when they get a significant situation, they can hand those patients off to Banner. I met yesterday with their director of sports medicine, who told me they could waive the cost of an impact test or embed it in the cost of a physical if we were to do that. So anyway, I'm very intrigued with that. 30 locations, walk in, do a quick impact test. It just seemed like an easy, fairly inexpensive baseline testing approach. And it's a test we're familiar with, it being impact. I handed one of those people off to Mr. Meneses, who has a lot of balls in the air, but we're going to talk to him further about what they can do. It seems like with many locations, it might be an easier way to get people baseline tested.
So if I can just say, Mr. Peters and I did a lot of footwork meeting with people and setting up meetings, and you get sick and go, and you get this easy, quick connection.
No,
That's great. This actually sounds exactly what we're looking for. So this is sounds like this might actually be an easy remedy for us to pursue.
You know what I might?
I think it's.
Commissioner Peters, I might have Mr. Meneses give you a couple names, and if you have an interest, the head of sports medicine there is Dr. Matthew Shores, really good guy, ASU guy though, so you'll have to talk to him. But really good guy and knows what he's talking about. We'll keep Commissioner Pennington and I out of the mix, so everybody's happy. But I'd appreciate it if you talk to them and just kind of ferret out what they're talking about. But it's just impact testing, and they're really good, I think, at handling post-concussion situations too. And when they're in over their heads, they're already married to Banner and can push people that way. So it looked like an interesting thing anyway. I'll have Mr. Meneses send a couple names your way if you have an interest in chatting with them.
And maybe we can go.
I do, absolutely.
Mr. Peters, maybe we can go do some meetings with them, and this could kind of get resolved more quickly versus going with all these big hospital companies.
A lot of this stuff's online too. It's fastmed.com, but I'll have it sent out to both you guys.
Great. And quickly, I know, Mr. Meneses, you said you're going to California to meet with the California crew. Maybe you can get some good intel over there with their procedures for the baseline testing. Be interested in knowing what you find out.
Yeah, they do quite a few things differently. Carlo and I are waiting to hear the schedule of what time they're doing weigh-ins and stuff, and we're going to try to make it out there. I believe they do early morning weigh-ins, which means we'll probably be leaving here about 4 or 5 in the morning in order to get there in time. But we want to be part of that as much as we can to see different things. And there was things that I picked up in Chicago when I went to Chicago a couple of months back, and learned, and we started implementing. And so, Andy Foster is one of the best in the business, and they do over 300 events a year. So I think there's no better place to try to learn how to do things correctly. Obviously people are returning there for a reason. So let's find out what we can steal and use from them, and see if we can get some of that business over here as well.
No doubt. Now, Andy's a great guy, and we share a border with them. We have a lot of fighters coming and going, so with the closer
And
we get to
officials
them,
too. We share officials with them. They take some of ours, we take some of theirs. So
yeah, great. Did he? Who is president of the ABC now?
So the ABC new president is Brian Dunn. He is from the Nebraska Athletic Commission. The first vice president is Miss Kim Sumbler out of New York. The second vice president is Mr. Mark Langlis out of Connecticut. The treasurer is Trista Robichon from Oregon. And the secretary is Allison, her last name is escaping me, Tully, I believe, from the Chickasaw Nation in Oklahoma.
Wow.
So the whole new board, they are still making the board. I think they have 5 more positions to appoint, and then the board will be complete. There was some, just so you guys know, just fill you guys in, there was a discussion and approval of some changes to the unified MMA rules. However, not to get too confusing, but those aren't necessarily going into effect yet. The commissions that are not adopting the rules have until July of next year to adopt the rules. If they do, then the remaining commissions, us, would have until January of 2021 to implement the new rules. If the other commissions do not implement their unified rules by the end of July of next year, 2020, then my understanding is that we will be remaining with the current unified rules, and we will not deviate from what the current definitions are set. So a little bit of commission politics going on amongst the commissions.
No doubt. No, those meetings can get pretty heated.
Yeah, I told Carlo about it last year, and he didn't get to go to that portion, and he got to experience it this time with the heated discussions. I think heated's probably an understatement for some of those discussions, but it was quite entertaining nonetheless.
Very good. Thank you.
Passion's the word.
I'm glad both of you enjoy combat sports.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we almost saw some at the meeting.
Keep your guard up, fellas. Commissioners, any other current events you'd like to chat about?
Mr. Chairman, just one thing while we're still, the ABC Commission conference is still fresh. I want to commend Carlo and Mr. Menezes for both attending judges training in boxing and MMA, staying current in their knowledge, and also keeping our commission right up on top. So I appreciate them attending those.
Thank you, sir.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Yes. I'll second that as well. Let's press on. G's the call to the commission, which we just had, more or less. Commission members wishing to ask questions or make comments must be recognized by the chair. Commissioners, any questions or comments you'd like to make?
I have nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I have nothing further.
Okay, then let's ask the public if they have anything. H is our call to the public. Those members of the public wishing to address the commission must identify themselves and be recognized by the chair. We'd ask that you hold it to 5 minutes if you would. Anybody? Come on. Okay. We have no takers in the call to the public, which presses me towards the announcement that the next regularly scheduled commission meeting will be at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. And that leads us to the possibility of adjournment, which would require a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay. That motion carries unanimously. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you on September 4th, if not sooner.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Take care.